In the last video, I bought a Volvo C30 that was in a pretty sorry state, managed to fix it up and get it back on the road. And now I bought another broken Volvo that's in a pretty sorry state. This one likes to drink a lot of coolant. So we're gonna have to get to the bottom of that, see why it's drinking the coolant, and depending on how much this thing is gonna cost to get fixed, I might keep this and sell the C30. I might, I don't know yet. What do you guys think? Would you keep this or would you keep the C30? Either way, let's find out what's wrong, see if we can get this thing back on the road. So the first thing I'm going to do is just simply pressure test it and see if it holds pressure. So I've pumped it up there to 1/2 bar, so I'm going to leave that overnight and see what the results are tomorrow. So it's had 12 hours and it's dropped a tiny bit. I think that's pretty acceptable for that amount of time. So we'll move on. Well, that escalated quickly. So I pressure tested it. It held pressure overnight. It was 1/2 bar, which is like 7 psi. So not a lot of pressure, considering these run at like nearly 200 psi, because diesels run quite high pressure. It was pressurizing the coolant. So when I took the lid off, cold or hot, it was just gushing out. And you could feel it in the pipes. It's starting to like almost expand. So the head gasket's gone and it is leaking into, well, it's not leaking as such, it's just pressurizing the coolant system because the air is escaping out into the water jackets of the engine. So that's what's happening. I checked the oil and there's no contamination in the oil, so basically there's no water getting in the oil, which is good. And there's no oil getting into the coolant, which is good. So yeah, head gasket. So I'm going to strip this all down. I've just got all the turbo and stuff off in the manifold. I need to get all the cam belt off next. Get all that timed up before I take it off, so when I put it back I know where I'm going. And then all the intake manifold and injectors. And I've got about 4 hours before I need to leave because it's Saturday morning now. No one's here at work, which is nice. Which is why I didn't really do any recording, because I'm trying to keep it separate from work. But this job, it was just so much easier to do it here rather than at home, because right now it's absolutely pouring it down outside and it's just, I can't be arsed. So I'm doing it here, so hopefully Monday morning I can send the head off to get skimmed, and then depending on how much material they take off the head, I'll then have to order the correct size head gasket, because basically you need to keep it all the same size. Because in theory, if you took too much material off the head, your valves are sticking out, your piston could hit them. And we're only talking like point something of a millimetre. So, but anyway, there's like 5 options of the head gasket, so I'll make sure I order the right one for that. Get some new head studs, injector seals, and then yeah, put this thing back together and get it up and running. All right, so I've got most of the things I need off. I've got all the intake manifold, the EGR valve, EGR cooler, all that stuff. The EGR cooler on these is a bit of a pain to get off, but that is now off. The next step I'm moving on to is the cam belt. Now I've timed it up so it's in the right place. I've locked the crank pulley off. I can't lock the cam off because obviously that's coming out. So I'm just taking the mounts off now, get the cam belt off. Probably have to take the high pressure fuel pump off. Once that's off, just a little bracket here. This manifold's already loose, but I can't pull it out because the DPF's in the way. So when I lift the head off, I'll pull that out rather than having to take all the DPF and all that stuff off, which I don't want to give myself more work, do I? Alright, so this is actually the head going back on. This is the old gasket, and if you look on there, look, it's actually split. So that is what was causing the coolant to pressurise. It was wrong, like, yeah, that was face down, so it was like that. So it was pushing out into the coolant system, which was then pressurising that. And not only that, this head bolt, these are obviously the new ones, but this old one decided to round off, which gave me a world of pain. So I had to drill it off to the point where the pressure was no longer on it, and then I just chucked my chisel on it and it literally twisted right out. So I'm going to frame that just for the pain that it's caused me. But put my light down there. So yeah, I'm putting everything back together now. I need to clean all this off to put the rocker cover or the cam cover back on because it's glued on. And yeah, try and throw all this back together. You know when you've had a car in a million pieces and then you go and start it for the first time and you're slightly nervous and hoping it doesn't explode? Well, that is where we're at right now. Actually started up really good. I did have to prime the fuel because they're on like a mechanical fuel pump, so I primed all that before I went to start it, but it seems to sound all right. So I'm going to go for a drive now and see how it goes. Well, it has been about a week now. I've been driving this thing back and forth from work every day. I've done about 300 miles and it's been absolutely great. I've had no issues whatsoever. Don't turn them off now. Thank you very much. Yeah, no problems whatsoever. So, yeah, I'm going to keep the V40. Technically, I've actually already sold the C30, so I'm definitely keeping the V40. As of the next project, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. So basically, the reason for that is I kind of want to do another camper van build, but the problem is I need a good chunk of money to throw at it at once. I'll probably need about £6 grand to throw at it at once. And recently me and Mrs just bought a house, so I don't have loads of money to throw at it, and I don't want to buy one and then take months and months and months to do it. So yeah, I'm just going to wait for now and yeah, maybe do a couple of little fixer-uppers and go from there. You know, build my money up and then buy another one.